Hello and welcome into the Knicks-Verse live post-game recap, analysis, whatever you want to call it, therapy session, whatever you need, we're going to provide here today on Into the Knicks-Verse. Welcome into the Knicks-Verse. My name is George. If this is your first time here, you've been here before but haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the thumbs up button for me. And definitely drop your comments. Want to hear everyone's thoughts and feelings about the current situation of the New York Knicks, that they find themselves down 0-2 in a best-of-7 series in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're going to discuss what is the reality of the situation, and we're going to discuss how the Knicks possibly can correct this situation. Now, if you're also watching this later on replay or on your own or whatever, definitely drop your comments. I try to read them all. Really appreciate it. All right, let's get to it. Here we go. New York Knicks lose game 2. They're now down 0-2 in the series. They lost 114-109. So now this series, these two games have been decided by an average of 4 points. 4 points. Incredibly close. And both of them came down to pretty much the last possession. Last night, there were a lot of things that didn't go the Knicks' way. And there were specific reasons for that. I'm going to talk about Thibs, him being potentially outcoaching himself, really. But Carlisle as well, exploiting Thibs' tendencies and weaknesses in terms of his he's just slow at making adjustments, and sometimes he takes the bait when he shouldn't. I will also get into discussing the starters themselves, and I'm going to talk about Karl-Anthony Towns. What to do with him. Because let me tell you something. Thibs has a hard job. He has two very weak defenders in his starting lineup, and they both happen to be his two best offensive players. Now, obviously, knowing Thibs, if they weren't such great offensive players, they wouldn't even be playing probably, or maybe coming off the bench, because we know how he is. We know that he values defense over offense primarily. So it is interesting that Leon Rose acquired two players that don't really fit the Thibs mold. Was that to push Thibs out of his comfort zone? To make him embrace offense more? I don't know, but the situation is what it is. So when I talk about Thibs and his limitations, we also have to bear in mind that he was put in this situation by his boss. So, I mean, that's just something you just have to take into account. Shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm just gonna roll through. Later on, I'll come back and look at these. But thank you guys for joining me here. Really appreciate it. I know it's a tough day. It's a tough day. I didn't really want to watch much analysis or recaps of that game last night. I did catch up today. I saw what Ian Begley had to say. I checked out CP and Alex and JD were discussing. And the first thing I want to say, though, before I get into the details of everything, this series is not over, and that's not hyperbole. I know mathematically it's tricky. We go to this. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, I know why. Here we go. All right. So, in NBA history, NBA teams have come back from being down 0-2 in a best-of-7 playoff series a total of 34 times. 34 times. This represents a comeback rate of 7.4% according to Sports Illustrated. So almost 7.5, almost 7.5% percent of the time they come back. So they do come back. Now, math, one of the things that I love about math is absolute. Math is absolute. And right now you can look at this and say, all right, this absolutely tells you a comeback is impossible. Well, the truth is, what the math is saying is it actually is possible, and it's happened 34 times. And if there is a team, especially a Knicks team, that we have had in the past 20 years that could pull something like this off, it's this team. And one of the main reasons is because they have Jalen Brunson on this team. And even though he has defensive weaknesses and he did make some mistakes towards the end, he also made big buckets to get the Knicks within striking distance. They were once down 10. And I also have that. We're going to watch the last 2 minutes together. And I'm going to go through it with you guys. So what the math is saying is take care of business on Sunday. Game 1 is all that matters. Now, here's some more details on this. Right here. So, number of 0-2 deficits faced. There have been 459 playoff series in the NBA history where a team has faced 0-2 deficit. They successfully come back 34 times. They've managed to overcome that deficit and win the series. Like I said before, the comeback rate is 7.4%. And recently, teams have overcome an 0-2 deficit in 8 of the last 9 years. 8 of the last 9 years, teams have overcome an 0-2 deficit, including the Pacers against us last year in the conference semifinals. Now, that was reversed because they were going home for game 3s and 4. So in that case, that's a little bit different. But what have we learned about this playoff year? Or actually recently? The home advantage really isn't that much of an advantage in the playoffs. It's just something about it. The Knicks are 3-5 at home. That's right. So they're 5-1 on the road. So they know, and we're talking about in the playoffs. So they know how to win on the road. So in that case, I see it very similarly. I like the idea that this team still has a chance, and a lot of it will depend on the adjustments that are made today. Today, right now, what those guys are doing, well, they're probably wrapping up their sessions right now, but whatever went on today in that practice facility, watching film, having discussions, all of the decisions that are made, and maybe Thibs has to sleep on something, wake up in the morning, and decide what to do with the starting lineup. Will he make that change? We know that he doesn't like change. His first playoff series as a Knicks head coach, he went with Elfrid Payton as the starting point guard, even when all data said otherwise. It took him 2.5 games to make the switch to start Derrick Rose. So he does eventually make the change, but now is the time for this to happen. We're going to discuss what those changes could be and how to utilize them properly. Let's keep going here. Oh, I keep switching around. Okay. Here's another positive thing. Another reason why I think it's positive. Because all that matters is what happens tomorrow. Game 4 is meaningless if Knicks lose tomorrow. So tomorrow is an absolute must-win for the New York Knicks. There's no sugarcoating it. Even for me, I'm a realist I'm a realist, but I have an optimistic coloring to it. But I can go dark, as you guys know. So I do believe that this kind of situation, Knicks are 8-2 when playing on Sundays this season. Their best winning percentage of any day. Additionally, each of those 2 losses were day games. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals is Sunday at 8 p.m., which I kind of like that start time. So there you go. So you have this combination of the Knicks have, Jalen Brunson, who is playing offensively just phenomenally well. Even though I'd rather see him pass the ball more, try to do some more catch and shoot threes, not pound the ball into the ground the whole time and have the whole possession be himself, which was kind of begins to happen in the fourth quarter. And even though it actually did work to get the Knicks back within striking distance in those last few minutes of the game, you don't want to have to depend on that, because then it makes the other guys just sit around, they're cold, and if the ball ever comes their way, I mean, they haven't even had touched the ball on offense in a couple of minutes. So that weakens your ability to be efficient in the closing moments. Unlike the Pacers, who move the ball, pass the ball constantly. Every guy's getting their hands on the ball, and they all feel like at any moment they can contribute. So that's one thing that does need to change. But Brunson is the clutch master. And we also have Mitch Robinson, who has been a revelation. Not revelation for us, but, I mean, he's just been phenomenal defensively. He's definitely been caught in moments, trying to help out too much, trying to guard more space on the court to help his other teammates. And sometimes he gets beat on the back end. It happens. It happens to everybody. But generally, he has been fabulous for the New York Knicks. And we're going to need more minutes from him. No doubt about that. All right, I need some water. Okay, sorry about that. All right, get to the next one here. Now, this is talking about the starters, really. These were the final plus-minus minutes. Cat was a minus 20. Hart, in a game that was lost by 5 points, which really was just a 3-point game, and the ball was in our hands with 14 seconds left. So he was a minus 20, and Josh Hart was a minus 10. Knicks lost by 5. Thibs chooses the lineups. Now, I think this is Papa Left. Yes, he changed his account or whatever. But this is an interesting take. I like it a lot. Season's technically not over, but we're talking about a 7% survival rate at best. Well, we saw it 7.5. And in the last 8 out of the last 9 years, teams have actually pulled this comeback off. At 81-81, you have a failed lineup. You call timeout down 6, and you come out with the same lineup. Tonight, it was Thibs without the urgency as well. Egos must die the second we board the plane to Indiana. Indiana. The starting lineup needs to change. Mitch and Deuce help us play Knicks basketball. We need to lean into that. I agree wholeheartedly with all of this. And then shout out to JD here. I don't think enough is being discussed about how bad Josh Hart has been defensively. To the casual fan, they see the effort and jumping for rebound, and because it's not as TV obvious, it's not magnified as much. 3 of the 5 starters are not good defenders. Josh Hart has not been a good defender for a while now. He has moments. He has his moments, but in general, he often gets burned, and he makes mistakes, and he makes just ridiculous fouls that kill momentum. A lot on OG and McCall. That's exactly right. So it used to be, Thibs is working with a situation where he has his 2 best offensive players are also his 2 weakest defenders on the whole team. But he actually now, Josh Hart, can also be added into that area of concern as far as defense. And he doesn't give you much offense. I mean, last night was just terrible. Hart lit 0 offense from Josh Hart last night, except for that amazing, he cut into the lane and Brunson bounced past it to him, and he had an easy bucket there in crunch time in the final 30 seconds or something, 40 seconds of the game. But other than that, didn't make a single jump shot, nothing. So if he's not making jump shots, scoring points on the offensive end, and he's giving up points on the defensive end and having stupid fouls, where is his value? And if he's not even getting to the 50-50 loose balls, where is his value? These are the tough things that coaches have to address. It's not about egos. It's not about, and remember, we know the dynamic. Josh Hart, Jalen Brunson, the roommates, the besties, all that stuff. This is Thibs worried, that he might alienate Josh Hart by benching him. Look, if you're worried about alienating one guy, what about alienating millions of New York Knicks fans? What is more important to you? Is it ultimately winning? And if a guy is not on board with that, you're going to placate to a guy who's not on board with that? No. And also, I don't think Josh Hart's ego is like that. I think he'd be chill with whatever resulted in victories. Tommy Beer, in the 43 minutes New York's starting lineup have logged together in the Eastern Conference Finals, they have posted an almost unimaginably awful defensive rating of 155.1. Their net rating of minus 42.9 over 2 games seems impossibly putrid. Wow. But let me show you this. So this, and shout out to Schwinny Poo. He tweeted this out, and I grabbed it from him. These are the playoffs 5-man combinations for the Knicks. So the starting unit has played 308 minutes. I mean, just overwhelming amount of minutes compared to the rest of the lineups. And they're a minus 10.5. Is according to Basketball Reference. The next lineup that's played 48 minutes, almost 49 minutes, without Towns. You switch Towns for Robinson. It's a plus 11.4. That is almost a 22-point swing, right there. 22-point swing, just by switching Towns for Robinson, and that's with Mitch, who can barely score. He has no shot, no jump shot, nothing. We're lucky if he hits 1 of 2 at the free throw line, and it's a 22-point swing. That's how utterly, putrid is the word the starting unit is at the moment. And they have been given a chance to figure it out all year long. All year long. They've been given a chance, and they have not been able to figure it out. But not only have they not been able to figure it out, Thibs hasn't been able to figure out that they haven't figured it out. You don't need to play them that many minutes together. I'm not saying it's not a lineup that can work against certain opponents in certain situations. But we're seeing it. It's right in front of our eyes. This potential championship run is hanging in the balance right now because you have failed, Thibs, to adjust. Why isn't it 208 minutes? Those other 100 minutes could have been spread out through others. Other lineups, other combinations. We could be fucking winning. We could be up 2-0. You go down to the next one there. They've averaged 37 and a half minutes or so. It's OG, Brunson, Josh Hart, 2 weakish defenders, but then you got Deuce in there, and you got Mitch in there. That's a plus 34. Then OG, McCall, Brunson, Deuce, and Mitch, a plus 39. You guys see the trend here? Towns is a big problem. Towns has not figured out how to be a good defender on this team consistently. He had a great fourth quarter in Game 6 against the Boston Celtics. And in fact, even before that, he has had other really good quarters as the season was, in the playoffs and towards the end of the season. He was starting to show much more effort and understanding of where to be. Come up to the level, not constantly drop back. But remember, again, he's doing whatever Thibs is telling him to do. I think. I'm imagining that. I did notice last night that he often ended up on Tyrese Halliburton. And that is the one thing he actually did well in that first half. Tyrese had only had 2 points by the end of the half. And he was primarily guarded by Karl Anthony Towns. Primarily guarded by him in that first half. But again, Towns gets tired. Things happen to him. Hold on, I just got to send a message here. Very frustrating with this coach. All right. Sam Quinn, CBS. I don't know how else to say this, but it feels like Tom Thibodeau is coaching the Knicks out of this series. Both of these games have been winnable. The margins are tiny, and he's just punting away 7 minutes at the start of each half by sticking with the starters, and that is absolutely perfectly said. It is. I'm often screaming when I start seeing Carlisle subbing guys in after 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and Thibs is waiting. Sometimes, he's sometimes. Sam's being a little kind here. Sometimes Thibs doesn't even sub until 9 minutes into a quarter. The crazy thing about that is, even if you really believe in that unit, you're hurting their chances of being effective because you're overplaying them. They get tired. OG is a shell of his former self. He's getting cooked by his former teammate, who he has shut down in the past. So you're like, okay, well, I've seen that. How about, you know what? Hey, there's another former Pascal teammate down here on my bench. Precious Achua. Get him out there for 3 minutes. Maybe he roughs Pascal up a little bit. Maybe he throws him off his groove. Gets his timing messed up. And then, use his fresh legs, his athleticism. And guess what might happen? OG might be a little fresher when he comes back in the game. And maybe he sees a little something that Precious has achieved. Precious can be a good defender. We've seen him be a good defender. We've seen him get burned, but he can be a good defender. He's got good size. He can rebound-ish. But you make a sacrifice here to get a benefit later. Or you make a sacrifice to get an instant benefit, and hopefully there'll be other benefits later on down the road. Man. Now this, just want to be clear here, this stat is incorrect, and it's because Ian overheard it from, I think it was the Trilogy from New York Times, asked Mikal the question, and he said that they're minus 81 in the playoffs, the starters. Mikal Bridges was asked about Knicks starters being outscored in postseason, including Game 2 loss. They are a total of a minus 81 in the playoffs. They've been out, but it's not. It's a minus 50 in the playoffs. It's a minus 50, but it's a minus 29 in this series. In just 2 games, it's a minus 29. So that means in the entire Boston series and the Detroit series, this starting unit was a minus 21 total, which is not good, but it's leapfrog to a minus 29 in just the last 2 games. The starters. We're talking about a game that was lost in overtime by a couple points, 3 points. And last night, basically, you had the ball in your hands and you could tie the game with 14 seconds left. And you're giving up almost 15 points per game with your starting unit? Unbelievable. Well, Mikal's answer was interesting. I'm not sure, man. Maybe it's a defensive thing. Maybe we're just playing too soft at the beginning. Absolutely. You know what? The answer is yes. I noticed that right away, especially last night. Way too soft at the beginning. Where's the ferocity? Where's the intensity? How can you disrupt shooters if if they don't feel the heat? Make them sweat. Ridiculous. I will say this. Just take a moment here. If Pascal Siakam doesn't have his best, I think that was his best game of the playoffs so far. If he doesn't have anything anywhere near that, if he just has a good game, 20 points, whatever, Knicks win the game. So Pascal was the reason that the Pacers won last night. And it's a bummer that OG, our $200 million defensive specialist, who was left off the all-defensive team, which I do think that is a crime, because throughout the season he's just been phenomenal, and since he became a Knick, but he was getting cooked. Is he tired? Is that left leg a little, bothering him? I mean, it seems like it. He doesn't quite have the hops to dunk. He's gotten blocked on dunks at least 3 times that I can remember. We're talking about a guy who's 6'8", like 260 pounds or something. Like he's a runaway freight train. But Pascal, he gets the game ball, obviously. He was phenomenal. The other Pacers weren't even doing that much, honestly. So, all right, let's take a break here for a second. Shout out to the chat. I see you got Lex in the house. Thank you, brother, for joining me. Best mod around. Margaret Edwards, Joseph James, everybody, thanks for rolling up. Really appreciate that. Was there a super chat? Sorry, I missed that. Hold on, let me roll back up here. Jay, thank you so much. It's never happened in ECF. That's right. When home team lost, it's never happened. The reason that stat doesn't really at all resonate with me, there's only two series every year that are conference finals. So in ECF, I think it's conference finals, not just the ECF. But maybe I'm wrong about that. But either way, if it's ECF, there's only one. So you're limited to one ECF per year. So your chances of things happening, it's not enough of not enough information, not enough data to be able to have that resonate for me personally. But the 428 playoff series where teams have been down 0-2 and they've come back, 34 times, that does resonate with me. So, but you're right, that is a definite concern. Definitely concern. Thank you so much, Jay, for the super chat. All right, let's head back to this. So obviously these guys are going to be bummed at the end. So this is the post game last night, New York basketball. Thank you always for your tweets, man. I've said this so many times. I have the utmost confidence and trust in my teammates. We've been in positions where we've been counted out and we found a way to win. Just one step at a time. That's right. Just win tomorrow and then we'll talk about Tuesday. Win Tuesday, talk about Thursday. That's how you got to do it. That's how those teams have come back 34 times. They all win that game 3. They all win that game 3. Just got to execute. We're just not executing enough. I told y'all, comes down to execution. We're just not executing enough. We just got to execute at a higher level. That's Cat. Now, he's got to be thinking about himself in that situation. Because often he is the weak link. And we all know, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. And right now, defensively, he is a weak link. And now I'm going to talk about Cat specifically. I wrote a bunch of notes about him and how to solve this situation. Here we go. All right, so this is what I think is happening with Karl-Anthony Towns and Tom Thibodeau. So is Towns a weak defender? Yes. Can he step up his defensive game at times when needed? Get a big block, get a big stop, step in front of a defender, body someone up, come off the weak side. Yes, I've seen him do all that stuff. But the problem is that Tom Thibodeau doesn't really understand who Karl-Anthony Towns is, which is insanely ironic considering he had him as a rookie, number 1 pick, and now he has him again in New York. He doesn't understand Cat's abilities. He thinks because he doesn't understand what Cat actually is. Cat is a sniper guard in a big man's body. He's not a real true defender. He's a good rebounder because he's got size, and he's got those hands, but he's not a true center, which is why the Timberwolves traded for Rudy Gobert. So Thibs wishes that he was more like a high-scoring Noah when he was with the Chicago Bulls, but he's not. He's a sniper with very limited defensive skills, and the main problem is when Cat drives to the hoop, if he doesn't get a whistle, or even if he's in a post, drives to the hoop, or he's down low in the post, if Cat doesn't get the whistle instantly, especially against a team like the Pacers, who are a high-paced team, deadly in transition, the Knicks are instantly for about 3 to 7 seconds in a negative defensive posture because Cat is stuck on that baseline or behind the baseline or under the basket or on the floor. Unless he gets a whistle. If he gets a whistle, stops the action so that it removes the opportunity for the Pacers to get out on the break. And this has been happening all year long with other teams as well, not just the Pacers, but the Pacers just happen to be able to take advantage of it even more so. And it's because he's getting the ball out there, on the three-point line, and he decides to take his man off the dribble into the paint. It often results into turnovers, which is very Julius Randle-esque, brings back a little bit of nightmares, but not as bad as when Julius could do it, like 5-6 turnovers like that in a row. It's not as bad for Cat, but he does turn it over. And often he's trying to body himself in, and if he doesn't get the roll, he's so big, his body's pulling his gravity away, momentum away from the action. The action's already up the floor. So then instantly there's confusion on the other end because who is going to man the paint? Who is going to protect the rim? So one guy usually has to be cognizant of that. I'm talking about when Mitch is not on the court. I'm talking about the starting unit situation. So often it's OG, or sometimes it's Brunson who's guarding the paint, and immediately mismatches left and right. And then they try to recover on it. And this is all fluid in transition. And the Pacers are a fantastic passing team. That's one thing I got to give to them. There's more than one thing, but that thing for sure, they're a fantastic passing team. They know how to fill lanes as well. And they know how to feed each other. And they know how to pass that ball around the rim, around the perimeter. So when Cat is stuck in the backcourt and the action's already on the other end, it leaves the perimeter vulnerable. It creates a hole in the perimeter at some point. And then, but the beauty of of what the Pacers do is they get the ball, they swing it, they try to get it to that open guy, but then a Knick will switch over to him, and he just keeps the ball passing until finally a Knick defender can't close out with enough time on a shooter, and they get a nice open three or a comfortable three. Then the net result from that is, even if they miss, they get most of those 50-50 loose balls off of the long three rebounds from missed three-point opportunities. And then they get a second chance opportunity, third chance opportunity. When we watch the last 2 minutes, you're going to see that exact thing happen. And look, fatigue is an issue. There's no doubt about that. Fatigue also makes you make bad decisions. The way to counter that is basically just leave Cat out beyond the arc, the three-point line. He can come in for like some 17-footers, 18-footers, set some picks for him so he can get free a little bit and just have him snipe from a three-point line. Or just keep him out on the perimeter on the offensive end. And if any shot goes up in the air, Cat should not go to get the offensive rebound. He should not. He needs to immediately head to the backcourt, the defensive end, plant himself right at the top of the three-point line, or between the three-point line and the top of the key. Just plant himself there. And if the Knicks manage to get an offensive rebound on the end, like OG or McCall or Mitch, who should be on the court with Cat, I believe. I'll get into that in a second. If we do get an offensive rebound, then Cat can race back to the offensive end, catch the ball at the top of the arc, the key three-point line, and let it fly. He'll get an open look. And we know he can hit that. He hits it constantly. But then you don't let yourself vulnerable on the defensive end. He needs to be the first guy to head to the backcourt when a shot goes up on the Knicks end. That's how you can remove those issues of having an imbalanced defensive position because once Cat goes in, he's gone. He swallows it all up. And he's the size. He's the size that we have. on the court. He's the only guy over 6'9" on the court in that starting unit. We're kind of a smallish starting unit. So I think that would help tremendously. And before I get to the next part, shout out to Joshua Cruz. Thank you so much for the super chat. He says, George, if we lose game 3, do you think it's over? Or do you believe we do something that's never been done, wake up from 0-3 and win 4 straight? I said this earlier. I will say, and I said it in my previous pregame video or whatever I did. I'm not counting this Knicks team out. No way, shape, or form, no matter what happens in game 3. I'm not. But it basically would be the kiss of death. So to me, absolutely, you have to win game 3. Have to win game 3. If they come to pull off an 0-3 comeback, it would be a miracle. We're talking about on the level of when the Boston Red Sox came back and beat the Yankees. It's just something that has never happened before. That doesn't mean it can't happen, but can't think about that. That's why game 3 tomorrow is an absolute must win. There needs to be no thought about anything else beyond it. It's just game 3 is what it's all about. So I'm not saying it's, it's completely over, but it's pretty much, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. Sandman, thank you so much, bro. I really appreciate that support. I appreciate all, the support everybody gives is tremendous, man. I like your optimism, Uncle George. However, I believe Knicks are done, as Rick Carlisle is exposing every deficiency of Tom Thibodeau as a head coach. We also traded Obi for a bag of balls because of Thibs. I know. You guys, anyone who's been here for a couple of years knows how much I loved Obi and how much I understood that at some point they had to make a move, but they gave him away for nothing. That was ridiculous. Totally ridiculous. So back to the Karl-Anthony Towns solution, as I see it. Here we go. And the other thing is, Carl just lumbers back on the court. He just doesn't, when he comes back from the defensive end, because he exerts so much energy to drive to the hoop and try to make those buckets, or even down low in the post, with his turnarounds. When he makes them, even when he makes those amazing turnaround jumpers, baseline jumpers, he still lags a little bit getting to the other side. So if he's doing that, someone else has to be going back, and it's going to have to be OG. The problem with OG is he's not a true rim protector, and he's getting burnt out. So let me just get back to this. Look, here's the reality. Mitch, or Hawk Porty always have to be on the court if Karl-Anthony Towns is on the court. That is the only way that these New York Knicks can maximize all the great, unique, amazing abilities that Karl-Anthony Towns has, which is he's a tremendous offensive weapon and can survive his defensive liabilities. Mitch Robinson always has to start. He has to start. And I think it's going to have to be over Josh Hart. So look what happens there. Josh Hart is 6'5". Mitch, 7 feet. So you immediately gain so much more height all around. And we know Mitch is a very active defender. So it's not like he's not one of those lumbering defenders who, can't recover. And even when guards sometimes blow past him, but often they get met with, boom, the big mitt. The big Mitch mitt to swat those things away. So the actual solution for the Knicks to come back in this series and to win this series is to start Mitch Robinson over Josh Hart. The double benefit of that is Josh, who obviously that knee, that runner's knee, tendonitis, whatever it is, has limited his explosiveness. He can't get to the rim as he used to. And it's compromising him definitely offensively and defensively. He is sliding all over the court. He's constant. I saw him fall 3 or 4 times in game 1, in that fourth quarter. It's just slipping. So, but the beauty of having him come off the bench, his energy. his enthusiasm. That's what you need to come off the bench. So you have the size from Mitch and his defensive awesomeness. You trade Hart's, small stature for a giant center who is the best offensive rebounder in the NBA. And that's why Karl-Anthony Towns can then ignore the offensive glass if Mitch is on the court. I don't want to see Cat and Mitch battling for an offensive rebound under the basket anymore. That's killing your defense. That unit has been okay-ish. They had a bad stretch. They had a couple of weak stretches at times, but mostly it's been an effective unit. But they haven't played together that much, so they also have to figure it out. And then that unit, when we see the double bigs, who's on the court? It's Payne. Cam Payne, who had a disastrous second half. Disastrous second half yesterday. He only played a few minutes. In the first half, he wasn't even that good in the first half as well. So you have Payne. I think it's McCall and Deuce with Towns and Mitch. Payne is not cutting it, which means why can't we go with DeLon Wright? What's wrong with DeLon? Why can't we go with Landry Shamet? Give you some real good outside shooting, which will definitely help, with when Towns and Mitch are on the court. I mean, there's so many options. Carlisle is out coaching the hell out of Thibs. He used this guy, Tony Bradley, who was a guy who was signed to 2 10-day contracts, I think in March. He didn't even play all year until March. And he uses him in key moments over Miles Turner. That is a great coach. He utilizes the weapons or the tools that he has in his toolbox. He finds mismatches. And look, if it doesn't work, you change it. Like, I think in Thibs' mind, he thinks, if I do this, I can never go back. No. You have flexibility to do whatever. I mean, there's no reason Shamet hasn't seen any minutes. There's no reason that DeLon Wright is only, he's seen 1 minute in the series or whatever? If even. Maybe I'm thinking of the Boston series. Precious could get time. Like I mentioned earlier. There's so much that can be done. But the fix of the starters is starting Mitchell Robinson and then keeping Cat out on the perimeter unless he has those moments where he has a great mismatch and he's got enough floor space to work with and he drives to the basket. In those moments, then whoever the third big that's out there, which is either OG or McCall, needs to be the one that heads back instantly. Often, when a shot goes up, you see all 5 Knicks in the camera view seeing what's going to happen with the ball. No, dude, not with these high-flying Pacers. Especially, they have Obi. Remember Obi? He used to leak out all the time. Leaking is their whole thing. So, this is something not that complex that can be easily done to fix this. The issues are not so much offensively with this team. This team is scoring like crazy against the Pacers. They averaged like over 120 during the regular season against the Pacers. And they light them up for 135 in game 1. Last night at 109, but they held the Pacers to 114. Last night was more of a defensive battle. But it's not like offense is really that big of an issue for this Knicks team, especially with Jalen Brunson on the floor. He covers up a lot of the mistakes, a lot of the weaknesses that this team has offensively. And then I got to shout out to Mikal Bridges. I thought he played a very good game offensively last night. Definitely played a very good game offensively. All right. I need some water. Again, these games have been lost by an average of 4 points, including an overtime game. So it's not like I mean, think about it this way. If you make this adjustment right here. Now, it's not going to be every possession. It's going to be like this. But if you make that as an option, as a go-to, which is Cat on the perimeter, sniper, exploit a mismatch here and there when he has it, but do it reasonably. Again, a fantastic mid-range shooter, fantastic turnaround baseline shooter. Lean more into that. Don't drive to the basket. I want Cat to cut his drives to the basket by 2/3. You don't want to eliminate it completely because it gets too simplistic for the defenders. But cut it by 2/3. This will turn into an additional, I would estimate, anywhere from 3 to 10 made baskets just from doing this, which would mean the Knicks would be up 2-0 in this series if they do that. That is my solution for that. Now, some people might also be thinking, hey, why don't we also start Deuce? Well, then who do you start Deuce for? McCall? You're not taking OG out. McCall? McCall does get off the slower starts. Actually, let's go back and look at this then. The best plus-minus lineup here. Now, again, the minutes is very low, so this is a very small sample size. That was the word I was trying to think of before. But McCall, Brunson, Hart, McBride, and Towns. That's a plus 40. So that is swapping OG for Deuce. Interesting. Okay. But that's like less than 12 minutes they played together. But it just shows any of these things. The only minus 5-man combinations on this list are the bottom one, OG, McCall, Josh Hart, Deuce, and Mitch. And I can see why that definitely would suffer, and I think that suffers more from an offensive standpoint because right now the Knicks are so Brunson and Cat offensive centric. Unlike that time when the Knicks had to play without Jalen Brunson for that stretch, but that's that lineup does suffer from playmaking and shot creation. That's the major reason that's such a minus 22.5. The next minus lineup is OG, Brunson, Hart. Again, Hart is in these. McBride and Towns. That's a minus 6.9 in 15 minutes. And then the actual starting unit. So the 3 minus lineups on here is Josh Hart. You swap Hart for Robinson, things change completely. Look at and for Towns, obviously, at this point. So McCall is, see what, minus, yeah. OG minus. OG has been. It's a tough call. I would not start Deuce. I would still keep him to come off the bench. With Deuce takes over the campaign type role, and Hart takes over the Deuce type role. And then you're going to need Hawkporty to play some minutes. I'm serious about this. Hawkporty, he is everything that the Knicks need right now. The physicality, the size, the athleticism, the hunger, and I like his basketball IQ. He seems to be, learning a lot. He's like a sponge. He learns a lot. Even if he was just playing 8 minutes in a game, it buys you the time so that you never have Towns on the court without another 7-footer whose primary responsibility will be offensive rebounding and rim protection on the other end. It allows Cat to be free and roam the perimeter. And, Cat can cut. Cat can cut to the basket, catch a pass, and maybe he passes it back out, because the beauty of having Cat moving all around the court off on the offensive end is he demands gravity. He demands it. Basically, you see the defenders get pulled towards him, and it opens up space for the others. For Brunson to have even more space. OG could benefit from that. Mikal Bridges could benefit from that. This is very fixable. It's a matter of whether Thibs will do it. It's a matter of whether the players will execute it. And by players, I'm talking about Towns. It's just a matter of decisions, And at this point, those seem to be the only decisions that I can see that can be done in time by tomorrow, which is switching up the starting unit, bringing in Mitch Robinson for Josh Hart, and then benefiting from the energy that Josh Hart gives you off the bench. And then Deuce will have to have more of the primary ball responsibilities when Brunson's off the court. And it doesn't mean that you can't also look elsewhere. Like I said earlier, Landry Shamet, DeLon Wright. I thought he did a very good job in his audition for the Knicks when Brunson was hurt. Meanwhile, on the other end, you got a guy going 11 men deep. And you're worried about going 9 deep? You're going 8 deep? You're worried? Come on, Thibs. Come on. You're getting out coached, man. And we're frustrated here. It's for this exact reason that I did call for Thibodeau to be fired in February. I saw all of this happening. Now, I thought it was going to, maybe we get lucky and get past the first round. Not lucky, that we could get past the first round, but then we were facing Boston, and I didn't think at all we'd be able to get past that. But I did believe that the players themselves, they're such a talented unit. The players themselves, let me remove the word unit. The players are so talented that depending on the units that you put together out there on the floor, you could have a fantastic team. You could have a team that could compete for an NBA championship. I did believe that. But really, the major obstacle this whole time has been Tom Thibodeau's stubbornness. Or, I don't know, lack of imagination. So now we're here. And in some ways, the players and the team has overachieved beyond Thibodeau's limitations and got to the Eastern Conference Finals. And shout out to them for that. And we should definitely enjoy it. No matter what happens, we're going to end up being really happy over time about this past season. There have been some great moments. They've gotten further than any Knicks team has gotten in 25 years. So that cannot be discounted in any way, shape, or form. And Thibs has been the coach for that. So he obviously gets some credit for that. But my belief is he is underutilizing the tools in his toolbox. Meanwhile, the other guy in the other work shed, Rick Carlisle, is creating new combinations out there. Look what he did with Ben Shepherd. He's throwing defenders constantly, cycling them around on Brunson to try and wear him down. Didn't totally work. Brunson still lit them up, but it makes him work harder on the offensive end, and it takes something out of him on the defensive end. Now, I'm just talking about strategic, lineups and everything like that. Of course, there's individual things that players have done that have cost the Knicks, put them in this hole of 0-2. But those things are not as dire as the configuration that Thibs has created with overloading the minutes onto the starters in terms of proportion. Not just that they play so many minutes. That's not so much the issue anymore. It's that when they play so many minutes, they lose them. Look at this. These are the lineups in the Eastern Conference Finals. The Knicks lineup, starting unit, just 2 games, has played the most, 43 minutes, no surprise, but also scored the most, 92 points. But in those 43 minutes, they've been outscored by 29 points. The second lineup below is their starting lineup. They've scored 91 points, just 1 point less than us, but they've played 7 less minutes together, and they're a plus 10. And that unit functions. That unit works. Ours doesn't. So And they don't even play it as many minutes as he could. And by they, I mean Rick. You can look down at, you can see the lineup here with Josh Hart, Bridges, Brunson, Mitch, and McBride. They played only 9 minutes, but they've gotten 22 points in 9 minutes. They're +6. The other lineup in the middle there, they played 12 minutes, scored 34 points. It's OG, McCall, Brunson, Mitch, and Deuce. They're +11. Imagine if those 43 minutes, if you took off 13 of those 43 minutes and gave those 13 minutes to the other two lineup configurations, Knicks are up 2-0. Knicks are up 2-0. Let's turn up some of the music a little bit here for a minute. All right, shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for joining me here. Margaret, I'm not talking like it's over. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over. I'm sorry if you didn't catch me in the beginning. It's definitely not over. It's just that part I was talking about. You know, try to be realistic and hopeful. There's a lot of things that point to positive things happening, especially in Game 3. I mean, like I mentioned here before, right here, for one, Knicks are a great Sunday team, and those things do matter. Over the 50-plus years that I've been watching sports, the days certain teams play definitely matters. I don't know. It's weird in baseball and basketball especially, mostly. So this definitely matters. Knicks are a good Sunday team, and especially a Sunday evening team. And then you look at the chances right here. You know, out of 459 series, 34 teams have come back from an 0-2. But it all begins with a Game 3 win. A Game 3 win. Let me go here and look at this. I mean, just look at these things. The 43 minutes they've logged, the defensive rating of 155.1. Terrible. That screams, don't play this lineup so many minutes. But it doesn't say don't play it at all. It's just don't play it this many minutes. Keep going here. Oh, here we got the stats. All right, we'll look at the stats now. Shout out to the chat. Thanks. We got over 200 in the chat. It's awesome. Thank you guys for joining me here. Not sure how much longer I'll be able to go, but we will get through these stats. Here we go. Bridges, like I said, I thought he had a good game. I wish he had taken more threes. He only took 3. He was 1 of 3. I felt like his shot looked good. His shot was looking good in the game. I thought he would have been good to have gotten some more 3-point attempts. He finished with 20 points in his 45 minutes of play. 45 minutes, unbelievable. That guy's incredible like that. He shot 50% for the game. OG, 6 of 11. I thought offensively, OG did a nice job. 2 of 6 from the 3-point line. Man, he missed that 1-3 that I wish had gone down. He finished with 16 points for him. Towns, in his 28 minutes, gave us 20 points. That's what I'm saying. He's obviously a tremendous offensive weapon. He's 2 of 5 from the 3-point line. Thibs just has to lean more into that. Treat him like a sniper guard. Turn him into Dante DiVincenzo. I'm not even kidding. Use Towns like Dante DiVincenzo on the offensive end. Why not? He's probably a better shooter than Dante from the outside. Brunson, tremendous scoring, 36 points. The Knicks don't have a chance at all at the end. If it weren't for his his heroics offensively, and he picked up 11 assists as well, 5 of 12 from the 3-point line. Josh Hart, look at that. That was ridiculous. 6 points for him. He attempted 0 3-pointers, 2 of 3 overall, 6 rebounds in his 29 minutes. What he may not understand. I mean, I'm sure he gets it, but what's clear here is it creates an imbalance. He's someone that you don't have to worry about when he's this inactive offensively. He's just such a lack of a threat offensively. And then you have Mitch, 29 minutes, almost 30 minutes, 9 rebounds, 6 points for him. Payne, disaster offensively, missed all of his shots. One was because the shot clock was winding down. He had to chuck it up in the air. Deuce, 2 of 5, but only 1 of 4 from the three-point line. Definitely he needs to hit some more threes, no doubt about it. He played 25 minutes. The Knicks shot 47.6% overall, 34.4% from the three-point line. Here are the plus-minus stats. As you can see, Bridges was a -7 in his 45 minutes of play. OG a +5, but Towns was a -20. Brunson a +4. Josh Hart a -10. Mitch was a +6 in his 29 minutes of play, and Deuce in his 25 minutes of play was a +6 as well. So you can see that those two guys are doing their job. They're doing their job of helping the team win the minutes when they are on the court. Need to lean into them more, but definitely I think Campaign may have seen, I don't think he needs to, we don't need to see any more Campaign. I want to see some Hawk Porty. I want to see some DeLon Wright. I want to see some Landry Shamet. I want to see some experimentation. Let's go. This is it. It's game 3. It's a must win. It's a must win. You can see the balance and scoring of the Pacers, all 5 in double figures, and then you throw in McConnell, who gives you 5 of 8 off the bench, 10 points in 14 minutes for him. Very efficient right there. Obi didn't have that much of an impact offensively in this game, but remember what he did in game 1? He had the game-winning putback or dunk. It was a bump. Yeah. Halliburton, like I said, look, Cat, when he was on Halliburton, he did a good job on him. He only gave up 2 points. Halliburton only had 2 points at the half. He ended up with 14 points, but shot only 3 of 10 from the three-point line. Finished with 11 assists, just like Brunson. Nembhard, 12 points for him in 37 minutes of play. Very efficient offensive game for him. Miles Turner, only 1 of 4 from the three-point line, 16 points, 5 of 10 overall, though. He had a big putback late in that game. We're going to watch that last 2 minutes. That's what we're going to do, and then we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging in with me. Neesmith, an efficient 12 points, but nothing near what the heater that he was on in game 1. Unbelievable. It was all really Pascal Siakam. Almost 40 points for Pascal, 39 on 23 field goal attempts, and even he hit 3-pointers. He's not a great 3-point shooter. 3 of 5 right there, 5 rebounds and 3 assists for him. They shot 43.3% from the 3-point line and 51.8% overall, which means the Knicks benefited at the free throw line. Yeah, they missed their free throws too. 15 of 21, but they hit them late down the stretch. That was a big plus for them. The Knicks actually attempted more 3-point shots than the Pacers. I think that might be the first time Knicks have done that since the first round. But the points conceded off turnovers, once again, is the major difference. Major difference. Just those turnovers kill, and it basically allows the Pacers to get out on the break and just kick your ass. We were a -5 in points conceded off turnovers, which is an improvement over game 1. The Knicks were a -24 in game 1. 24? Yeah, or 23 or something. All right, let's keep going here. All right, so now let's look at those last 2 minutes. Here we go. Turn the music down. All right. And so here we go. The score is 108-100. Now remember, it was tied at the beginning of the fourth quarter. This game was tied at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So for the next 9 minutes of play, the Knicks allowed the Pacers to build an 8-point lead. And there we go. There we go. They come down. Brunson gets into the paint. Kicks it over to Mitch. He attempts a corner 3. No, and somehow OG doesn't get that rebound. Oy. And then immediately turns into a fast break opportunity because no one's back. So this is an example. And Towns is not even on the court. Towns is not on the court. They're such a quick strike team. Now here bring it up. Hart, who's not an offensive concern for the Pacers at all. They can just ignore him in the corner completely. And even Brunson, first of all, why didn't he pass it to him when it was easier? He didn't. And then it turns into, we got lucky. Pascal bails the Knicks out right there, fouling OG. OG goes to the line. There's great pass by Halliburton. Look at that. Totally crushed us there. So OG hits both these, which great. That's one thing Knicks took care of. That's one thing they improved over game one. So now it's still an 8-point game with 2:25 left. Here we go. So McCall's on Halliburton. Brunson's on Nesmith. Turner's in the corner. Remember, okay, now. Okay, so in between, during those free throws, Mitch was subbed out. I think that was a mistake, personally, and you will see. And he later on, I don't know if you remember, even Stan Van Gundy, I think it was a minute 6 left or something, and he called it interesting coming out of the timeout in a defensive possession, possession that you would leave Mitch on the bench. He pointed that out. So now Turner's in the corner. You get the ball to Siakam, who's been scorching, killing everybody, but nice. McCall's got him nice right there, set up. But Brunson and Cat, what are they doing? Why are they looking that way? What's happening here? Turner's, look at he's ready to come in. Comes right in. Boom, boom. He swats the ball. So Cat doesn't block Turner out. And it allows Turner to sneak his hand in and knock it out away from 2 Knicks. That should have been a defensive rebound for the Knicks. And guess if Mitch was on the floor, would that have happened? No. So there. That Thibodeau right there. So now they get the ball. Second chance opportunity. Call him out. But the clock is ticking. Clock is ticking away. Okay. That's a terrible attempt, but we've seen this guy make it, but the shot clock was down to 2.4. He's going to miss it. Completely airballs it, and I think McCall actually may have blocked it. So Knicks survived that. Possession right there. But the clock was the enemy. They lost minutes there. They lost 24 seconds there. So now we're bringing it up. Towns doesn't set a good screen, but Brunson buries it. Beautiful. Now it's a 5-point game with 1:40 left. All right, Halliburton brings it up. McCall's got him again. Hart is on the floor. Why is Hart on the floor? Why isn't Mitch on the court here right now? Hart has been burnt defensively all series long, the entire playoffs. He's been burnt, and he's just not the same guy. And offensively, he doesn't give you anything either. So here we go. Oh, so now Brunson picks his own. Brunson picks his own player right here. Right here. He runs into McCall. Boom. Look at that. And is that Nesmith right there? I mean, Tyrese could have easily bounced past that to Nesmith right there, but I think he was just surprised at the situation. So he comes around. He finds a higher reward shot. Miles Turner, you're up 5, so you can take this kind of risk. Minute 25 left. Turner misses. Whew, lucky. And we finally get a defensive rebound off a miss. All right, bringing it up. Brunson right here gets shoved by Nesmith. It pisses him off. You'll see later. He finally gets in there, makes what a tough basket. Look how hard the baskets are he's making. So now it's a 3-point game with 1:06 left. And now you can see Brunson is like pissed. He wants to have an argument with the ref. I can't remember which ref it was. So during this timeout, right here, and here's where you can Stan Van Gundy says, interesting, defensive possession, you leave Mitch on the bench. So now we have Bridges. This is the starting unit. And once again, Cat is on Turner, and Turner's in the right corner. And this is, remember this, why it was so important to have Mitch on the floor here. Here we go. So this bucket's not going to go in. But look, 4 Knicks around. OG, instead of grabbing the rebound, which I don't understand why he didn't just grab the rebound. He was right there. Instead of grabbing the rebound, he decides to swat it to who? Who's over there in the right court? What white jersey is over there? And then Towns, here's the thing about Towns. Remember I mentioned him? Look, again, Turner slips right past Towns. Right here. Just slips right past him. Gets in front of him. So Towns could have had the rebound if he had blocked. Or was that Siakam? No, Siakam. That was Siakam. If he had blocked him out, he didn't. So now they get another second chance opportunity. Something that wouldn't happen with Mitch on the court. Now let's say, okay, maybe the other time it might have happened, but definitely not both times. At least one of these 2 times, Mitch would have put an end to this possession. And the beauty of it is the shot clock right there. The game clock. It's at 49.8 seconds. So if the Knicks had had that rebound right there, could have changed everything. So now they get the ball. They're going to tick some more seconds off the clock. Here we go. And Pascal misses. And this time we get the rebound. OG comes back for it. Kicks it out. But now it's 33 seconds. Brings it down. Brunson, pound. Not a single pass. The only pass was from Bridges to Brunson. Pound. Clock's ticking. Pound. Now he passes it. Burns it because I think Nesmith went to double team Brunson with Halliburton. So nice move by Hart. Excellent to get in there. So now it's a 1-point game with 14.7 seconds left. Again, where is your best defender? Oh, wait. He's on the bench. Your best defender's on the bench in this game. Let's put it this way. And then the Knicks do everything right at that moment, but Brunson, he grabs Nesmith's jersey, and he didn't need to. Nesmith wasn't going to catch that ball cleanly. At best, it was going to hit Nesmith's fingers, and it was going to bounce out of bounds anyway. The Knicks would have gotten the ball back with 14.7 seconds left in a 1-point game, and they still had a timeout. But Brunson, brain farts, holds onto Nesmith's jersey, and what should have been a turnover turns into a foul. And we're in the bonus. And watch, they'll show you the replay. Here it is. Oh, they'll show you the replay in a second. This is beautiful. I love that. Here. Okay, watch. He's not catching that ball. Boom. Even if he catches it, even if he somehow manages to miraculously catch it, McCall is right there to double team him. You guys can seal him off. Seal him off right there. Maybe McCall swats the ball out of his hands and it rolls off of Aaron's knee or something. But no. This is what happened. Pretty sure they show the close-up here. Here it is. Grabbing his jersey. That's lazy defending. Now, do opponents do that to Knicks all the time? Yeah, they do. But you want to be a champion. You want to be the champion. You can't allow that to happen. You can't make that kind of mistake. Look at him, just grabbing it. It did slow down Nesmith. It definitely impeded his ability to catch that ball. But I think the pass was so bad it was going to go out of bounds. So now he hits both free throws. Now it's 112, 109, and everyone's been talking about this. 14.7 seconds left. Knicks have a timeout. Thibs chooses not to call a timeout and set up a play. to get a good, because now we need a 3. You absolutely need a 3 here. Brunson decides to take it himself. And again, no Mitch on the court to give you that extra size, to create more space for Brunson off a nice pick, a nice screen, I mean. Coming down, and he decides to pull up from like 38 feet and launch it with 9.9 seconds left in the game. That is another poor decision. This one, I give it to both. I give it more to Thibs, but Brunson should also have looked for a better shot. You had 9 seconds left, bro, in an NBA game? That's amazing. And it's a heave. Not even shit. And again, here's the net. The final. Where is Mitch? Where is Mitch? Who's the one guy who can get you an offensive rebound? What is his whole specialty? What is his magic secret sauce for winning games? It's Mitch. Mitch could have gotten this, kicked it back out to Brunson, and Brunson taking 2 3-pointers in a row. I like that idea in the same possession. He makes that next one for sure. Because he's locked in like that. Instead, it bounces around. Look at little Josh Hart. They're trying to battle for it. Nope. Turner gets it. Game's over. So, that's why I say Tom Thibodeau got outcoached. Tom Thibodeau lost this game for the Knicks. And I mean, maybe those plays at the end, are partly due to the fatigue as well. But the players got to take responsibility, and they will. Brunson will. He's going to come out. Brunson's going to give us 40 tomorrow, no doubt. The question is, will Cat give us 30? Will McCall give us 25? Will OG give us 20, 25? Will Thibs make the adjustments that's necessary to win game 3? We shall see. Pacers lost game 3 after winning the first 2 games against the Cavs. I think they got blown out, I believe. They lost game 3. All that matters is the Knicks win game 3, and then we will talk about Tuesday. I think it's possible. I think they can do it. I know they can do it. I know they can do it. Woo! All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here. Again, shout out to the chat. Really appreciate all the support. It's been an amazing season, amazing, frustrating season. Amazingly frustrating, which is so bizarre because we haven't experienced this level of success in 25 years, and yet it's still one of the most frustrating seasons. And I think partly it's because of the expectations that had come with making these big moves in the offseason from a team that was just what kept them from advancing to this place last year was injuries. So you make the move for McCall, and then you make a big trade for Towns, and it just raises the level of expectations. They come out and they're one of the most lethal offenses in the history of the NBA for like about a month and a half, 2 months about. But the defensive woes kept lingering. The collapses in fourth quarters kept occurring. And the lack of an adjustment from Thibodeau with the starting unit just never came. I mean, an adjustment by Thibs just never came. And then, the NBA started figuring out a few things on how to slow down this offense. Put a big on Hart. Put a good defending wing on Cat, and that definitely has helped. And then just exploit the Knicks. Just get out on the break, leak out as fast as possible whenever a shot goes up, especially if it's Towns driving to the hoop. It's our weakness. Attack Brunson mercilessly and Towns defensively mercilessly as well. Those are all the adjustments that the NBA has made. And yet the Knicks are right here, going to a game 3 in Eastern Conference Finals. First time in 25 years. I know I keep saying it because it's important to maintain that perspective. But I think also the other thing is it's not like the Knicks got blown out in games 1 and 2. They had game 1. They blew it. They gave it away. And then last night, you saw it. Showed it. The mistakes, the construction of the unit that's on the floor in crunch time was a decision that Thibs made and you saw the way it played out, how having had Mitch on the court could have resulted in 2 offensive rebounds and 3 defensive rebounds. That didn't happen. And 2 of those defensive rebounds that Mitch could have had in that last 2 minutes could have kept the Pacers from scoring, and could have actually, just that alone, could have led to a Knicks victory last night. Okay. I do think the Knicks will win tomorrow. I do. It would be wonderful if it's they just go in there and just spank them, pull off a game 6 type game that they had against Boston. Do that in game 3 against the Pacers. And then we'll be in a totally different situation on Tuesday. Knicks win that. The series is now 2-2, and everything that happened in games 1 and 2 gets erased. And when they start anew, and Knicks regain home court advantage, and I love the Knicks' chances with needing 2 more wins in 3 games, with 2 of those at home, even though the record at home hasn't been that great, 3-5, but they did win a big, huge closeout game 6 against the Boston Celtics at home. So they know they can do it. They know they can do it. And the other thing is that they can do is they can also win on the road. They're one of the best road playoff teams so far. So has Pacers been. Pacers are not that great at home. And actually, most of their guys, other than I think Halliburton, have a actually, let me look this up. Let's look this up here. I was about to wrap up, and then I realized I want to see what's going on here. Let's go back to this. All right. Regular season. Pacers at home. All right. At home, Halliburton and Siakam. Very effective efficiency here. But 3-point wise, look at this. Turner, 38%. That's good. Neesmith, 42%. But Nembhard, 28.6% at home. McConnell, 31.8% from the 3-point line at home. Obi, 36.2% at home. Benedict Mathurin, I said that, 30.6%. Those aren't great numbers at home, efficiency-wise. So they're vulnerable at home, and we're a great road team. So maybe it'll result, not maybe, it has everything set up to result in a Game 3 victory, and even possibly and a Game 4 victory. Game 4 victory. That's what I'm looking for. That is what I'm looking for. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this. Shout out to the chat. Thank you, Lex the Destroyer, for holding it down. Everybody who rolled up, really appreciate it. We got Sweetie in here, Anthony, Caleb. What's up? Drew's Reviews. What's up, brother? Who else we here? It's been a great chat. I'm gonna reread this later. Hey, G Money, Gideon, what's up, brother? Appreciate that. Margaret, thank you so much for rolling up. All right. Thank you for joining me here. Again, my name is George. Please subscribe if you haven't yet, and turn on a notification bell so you're alerted when I go live or drop a new video. And please hit the thumbs up button for me. Share the video. That would be great. Share this video specifically because this is it's not over. It is not over at all. Knicks have one game to worry about, to deal with, and that is tomorrow. And everything is set up perfectly in line for them to do it. It will require Thibs to make an adjustment. And even if he doesn't make the actual adjustment I'm asking for in terms of the starting unit, he needs to make the adjustment of how he uses Cat. How he uses him has to be changed against this Pacers team. Remember, not all your opponents are the same. Yes, like you say, the game tells you what to do. Well, this game tells you what to do right now. And that's telling you, don't let Cat drive to the hoop. Have him cut his drives to the hoop by 2/3 and have him be the one who leaks back to protect the defensive end when any shot goes up, and let let the others deal with the offensive rebounding. That is a major key adjustment that can be done without having to change the starting unit. But in my opinion, even if you start this unit, within the first 4 minutes, if things are not going right, make the move. Pull Hart, bring in Mitch. Let's get a defensive presence instantly. Let's not let the Pacers get comfortable, get into any kind of a groove. Let's go. Let's win this game 3. I believe it can happen. I believe it will happen. Thank you so much for watching this. I will see you around the Knicks-Verse. Let's go. Let's get it.